Network, you can relive the story of the 2020 Super Bowl champion Tampa Bay Buccaneers as told by Mike Evans, Devin White, and Leonard Fournette. It's an NFL Films original called America's Game.
I'm so happy to be in Tampa Bay. Let's go Bucs.
I was ecstatic. Who doesn't want to play with the greatest player ever?
You talk about the Tom Brady effect.
Let's take over this game.
I'm going to put the dagger in him.
Let's show them why they drafted us.
Picked off by Devin White to the 40.
I'm like, man, I'm telling you, you give me an inch, I'm going to take it a mile. Everybody started calling me Super Bowl in there after that.
It's narrated by wrestler, actor, and Tampa resident John Cena. Cannot wait to see America's Game, premiering Wednesday at 8 p.m. Eastern on NFL Network. Big game on Thursday night between those Buccaneers and the Cowboys. We're getting set for week 1 of the season, just 2 sleeps away from that. And we welcome in Tom Pelissero with some headlines around the league. Tom, good morning to you. Thank you for joining us. Let's start with some news out of Houston. What can you tell me about who will start week 1 against the Jags?
Okay, Texans coach David Culley really confirmed what had seemed obvious throughout training camp and the preseason. It will not be Deshaun Watson as the starting quarterback on Sunday against the Jaguars. It will be Tyrod Taylor, the 32-year-old veteran now on his 5th NFL team. Another opportunity for Taylor, who signed a 1-year, $5.5 million deal back in March that can be worth up to $12 million with incentives. And it's further uncertainty for Deshaun Watson, who requested a trade way back in January. Watson, of course, also faces serious allegations of sexual misconduct in 22 civil suits. There's a grand jury probe and an ongoing NFL investigation. Watson has remained dug in. He shows up to work every day, but he is done, does not intend to play ever again for the Houston Texans. And the Texans have also been dug in on their price in a trade, including 3 first-round draft picks and more. So for now, everybody waits, and Watson is in line to earn over $10 million this season to not play, okay?
Appreciate you outlining that entire situation for us. Tom Pelissero, wild that it is still going on, just a couple days away from the start to the regular season. We'll talk to you throughout the show and throughout the week, of course, right here on NFL Network. Guys, I can't believe this is still going on. Yeah. What do we make of how the Texans quarterback situation is playing out?
Yeah, it's crazy to know that it's a talent like Deshaun Watson, and we don't get the privilege to enjoy this kid playing this year. I mean, he's one of the top 5 arm talents at the quarterback position, and we won't see him play. But I do think Houston will be okay with Tyrod Taylor, and I say that because Tyrod's not going to lose you the game. He's not going to make the mistakes that lose the game. You talk about a guy who's only had 20 interceptions in almost 1,400 pass attempts in the National Football League, okay? That's like 1 per 70 pass attempts, meaning this guy's going to play football that you can manage from the sideline as a coach. He's going to be that consummate leader and do things right and be that lead by example type of a guy. The issue with Tyrod is he's not going to try to throw the ball into tight situations. He may not try to take that chance that's going to win the game for you. So scheme has to be right. The effort of your players have to be right. And Tyrod can't turn the football over, which I just outlined he won't do. So I know the arrow might be looking like it's pointing down for the Houston Texans, but they're going to be a hard out for teams who play them because they're not going to give up.
Yeah, it's a tricky topic because you're dealing with serious things off the field with Deshaun Watson. You're dealing with implications on the field with the team. And then you're dealing with this player as a football player and then as a person and as what we're getting from him moving forward. And so he's going to make $10 million to not play football. And I wonder about the competitor in Deshaun Watson, if he's going to be okay just sitting at home missing the season and not playing. And that's what I think is the plan right now. Hey, we'll spend the $10 million to see just in case. And then, from Deshaun, I've heard from good sources that, Deshaun never wants to wear a Texans uniform again, does not want to play for them. So it's this deal that, to your point, Mike, one of the best young talents in the sport. If you were to do a poll last year, I would say he was viewed as a top 5 player in the NFL going into the season. And now it's this persona non grata that we don't talk about, and it's just this isolated bubble situation where it's there's just a million things going on. He doesn't want to be on the Texans. You've got this off-the-field situation that are being investigated both from a civil case and there's a criminal case, and then there's, of course, the league is investigating. And it's like, just keep pushing it down the line, keep pushing it down. Well, we're here. Like, the season's here, and we pushed it down the line all these months. And the Texans go from a perennial playoff team to now a team with a new coach who is a first-year head coach who has never been a coordinator in the NFL, with Tyrod Taylor and Davis Mills as the quarterback, and this superstar at home watching it all from afar as he waits for things to proceed and just see how his fate is determined. I don't know if I have sympathy. I don't know if I have an understanding of the entire situation. I don't. There's a lot I don't know. But I know there are multiple investigations going on, and those investigations are going to go on those timelines, not on when it's good for football and when it's good for Deshaun Watson. So $10 million, he doesn't want to be a Texan. I don't know if they even want to put him on the field, but it's safe for them to just say, all right, we'll pay you your money, I guess. That's just what it is. And in the meantime, I guess we'll roll out Tyrod Taylor and try to win some games.
Could you imagine being a teammate? Like, I can't imagine knowing that we have an MVP candidate guy on the bench. You know what I'm saying? And I know it's a business aspect to this thing, and nobody, you farm your own land. That's what we say in the National Football League. Don't worry about anybody else's money and issues. But it would be difficult for me to be on a team. No, I have a top 5 guy at the quarterback position, and he can't play. I'd be pretty upset because we're not competing. We're not putting our best guys out there. It's a crazy situation.
What about in the third quarter when you're down 30 points and the quarterbacks aren't good? There's so many questions about there's no way he's going to dress, right? I can't imagine he's going to be standing there in shoulder pads.
I think he's paid either way, if he dresses or doesn't. So I would imagine that for both sides. So don't dress him. Don't put him out there on the sideline.
Totally healthy.
Yep.
Under contract.
Yep.
There, but not playing.
Yep, and not on the commissioner's exempt list. So
Nothing.
It's not like he's suspended.
So at what point don't the Texans go to him and say, Deshaun, we're going to play you? And he says, no, you're not. And he said, well, actually, yeah, we are. No, you're not. You can't physically put me out on the field. I'm not going to do it. One of the strangest things about this topic, and there's a lot, is that it's been barely talked about in the media because we don't know how. We can't totally vilify him. We can't totally exonerate him. We don't understand it before. I feel like it's unprecedented. It's going to be looked at as Watson versus Texans 2021. It's landmark. And here's a curveball. What happens if this Saturday night Tyrod Taylor is a close contact and they find out that Tyrod can't play? Davis Mills, the rookie, is going to start. I think you have to dress Deshaun. What if Davis Mills turns his ankle in the second quarter and can't play?
I'm sure they have an emergency guy. I'm sure they have.
So they're going to put in a converted wideout in front of Deshaun Watson, who's not even, is he in? I don't understand at all, because this season of all seasons, you got to have your room right, and you got to know your quarterback, because the COVID thing's everywhere. So I honestly, I don't know the question if they're going to dress him, and if they're not, why? And how does this end? All I got is questions, guys. If there's answers, please let us know.
How did they handle him with the NFL 100? Was he?
It's the strangest thing I've ever seen.
Did you not? It was Deshaun Watson's currently under investigation, and that was that. And then
they run down about 70-some players, and you know how this is. Here's Tyrann Mathieu, and there's 20 people saying, this guy's a dog, this guy's great. They get to Deshaun Watson. There he is. He's
voiceover.
No players talk. No one weighs in on it. A somber voiceover saying the future is uncertain, but what a great player. That is
a tough thing to cover.
But our society silences us, guys. Our society silences us.
How do you mean?
The cancel culture.
Okay.
You can't truly go out there and say anything, regardless of how you feel. You're going to be looking at Twitter to see if people are affecting your brand. That's why you're not going to see athletes speak about it, because it's one of those topics that you really just can't talk about and give, honest opinions out loud, because somebody's going to always say the truth.
But it's hard to make an opinion. We don't know. There's so much information and so many questions that we don't know what to make of it. I will say, just objectively, football X's and O's wise, you bringing up Davis Mills, I want to see Davis Mills. Don't the Texans? I mean, you're saying they're going to be competitive. I think they're headed towards a top 5 pick, likely. I think that's just the reality of the situation. And if I'm going to be looking at drafting a quarterback in April, Schrags, I'd like to see what I have in Davis Mills, who was getting lots of love in the draft process.
3rd round pick, and you took him. He was the first quarterback taken in by the Texans, their first pick.
I want to see him. Let's see him. Let's see Davis Mills.
Roll him out. We know what we're getting with Tyrod Taylor, and he's like you said, he's not going to lose you games. It's almost like it's convenient for everyone, and I say convenient because we don't know all the information. Texans just be irrelevant and bad, and we can talk about 31 other teams. But that's not fair to the players on that team.
No, it's not. That's my thing. It's not fair. How can a coach, David Culley, stand in that offensive team meeting room or team meeting room and say we're competing, go put out your best foot, when as an organization, we can't possibly do that. Our franchise quarterback ain't going to play. And to your point, I know they want to maybe force him to play or things like that. I mean,
you can't, I guess.
You can't. He'd be hurt then. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
He'd be injured.
Yeah, he'll find a way.
You'll find a way. It's kind of like the hold-ins, with Seattle, with Jamal Adams and things. Yes, you show up. I just ain't doing nothing.
Not feeling
if I got to go out there,
Yeah.
I'm hurt. You can't tell me my hamstring don't hurt.
I'm not trying to be unrealistically optimistic, but is there a world where this galvanizes that locker room that you're talking about? Is there a world where it's like, this is all, because at some point things get so messy between a quarterback and the front office that it's just like, what did you say, farm your own land? Let's farm our own land and make waves, and nobody's talking about us. And Peter Schrager just said that nobody's talking about us on Good Morning Football, which is true. We just don't want it. We don't know what to make of it. And they sort of say, you know what? We're going to flip the table.
Hey, that is why I say this team's going to be a hard out. I've been on terrible teams. Okay. And when you're in the locker room, it's a freedom. There's a freedom there.
No expectations.
Nobody expects us to do anything. I can just go out there and ball. If I mess up, we're sorry anyway. Just saying.
I'm curious to see if one of you guys put the Texans into the playoffs.
Maybe Mike did.
In a wild card
Mike thinks they're going to be tough.
That's right. It's prediction week.